Hi, everybody. I just told everybody to be quiet because okay. And this now it's time for a Casey Kasem transition because here I am laughing at what we've been talking about. But I I I I, I don't think the person I'm going to pay my respects to would really mind.
Mhm.
Um, because he was a good dude and he was a good laugh. And for those of you, everybody in the room in the Hangout knows this already because I posted a Patreon thing about it. But for anybody watching who isn't aware, our friend Serious Mind, Joe Stevenson, passed away recently. He passed away a little over 2 weeks ago now, or almost 2 weeks ago now. I think this Wednesday will be 2 weeks. Um, and he was a regular presence here with us on these monthly hangouts. And he and I also did, some live streams together, just the two of us. He was also a YouTuber. And in addition to being a steadfast supporter of mine, he was a really good friend who I got to hang out with in real life, not nearly as often as I would have liked to, but every time we got to actually be together and hang out, it was a great time. Whatever we were doing, whether we just met up someplace or we went out to eat or whatever. Um, and as people who knew Joe will tell you, he was unfailingly generous. Um, and he was the kind of guy who would would take road trips just to go out and see his friends because he had a lot of friends that he met through YouTube and then he met through the internet, some of whom lived in far-flung parts of the country. Joe was from New Jersey,
Mhm.
but he would often, try to, and sometimes he would be traveling for business, and if he would travel for business, and he knew he was going to be in the area of a person that he knew, he would, try to arrange to swing by and visit. Because he was just that kind of a guy. He was the kind of friend that always made it a point to stay in touch with his friends, and I benefited from that because I am not that kind of friend. and and Joe was always the one to sort of reach out, even if we would see each other through these things. But if it had been a while since we had spoken personally, he would just send me a message and say, "How's it going?" or just checking in, just wanted to make sure that everything's okay. Um, he was just a great guy, and his death was a surprise. Um, the last few times he had been here with us, he talked about he had had a car accident over the
Mhm.
summer, and he had some pain issues as a result of that. His
Mhm.
death wasn't, as far as I know, his death wasn't related to that, at least not
Mm.
directly. Um, but yeah, and that looking back, we were supposed to get together last summer and go to an Orioles game, and that never happened in part because he had that accident. Um, and of course now I think, damn, that would have it's I
Mhm.
wish we could have gotten together and gone to that ball game together. But um, yeah, he was a good friend and a good guy, and I'll really miss him. And uh, since this is the first time we've done one of these since he died, I just wanted to make sure to mention it up front. And as I told everybody before we went on the air, if anybody else here who knew him has anything they would like to share, the floor is open. And then after that, it doesn't have to be a memorial service. We could go on and talk about whatever we want, but I'll throw the floor open to anybody else who has things they want to say uh, about Serious Mind, aka Joe Stevenson.
I'll say something. It's not what I raised my hand, but I'll say something that I
Oh,
remember. So
please.
when my dad died a couple of years ago, and said, "Hey, you got to speak at your funeral." So I didn't know what to say, and so I said the following. I ad-libbed the following. Uh, People live. Joe, I think, is going to live through us, especially through you,
Mm.
Steve.
Yeah.
In
Yeah,
other words,
yeah,
people exist because we remember them, because we share those experiences, and while the person is gone itself, they will live on. An aspect of that will live on all of us. Now, I
yeah,
didn't have the pleasure to know him as well as you did, Steve, but you did. And I hope that as we look back, as you look back on his life and yours, right, that you remember the laughter, the fun, the whatever it is that that made your friendship a friendship. I wasn't there, so that's yours, and cherish that. So for those I see Joe, for example, who is taking this pretty heavily, I guess I understand people who knew him better.
yeah,
Um, yeah, I mean, it's gonna be difficult always because it's a hole in our hearts.
yeah.
But remember that that person lives on us, and as long as we keep
Yeah.
them in our memory, then that's it. But
Yeah.
I leave the floor
Problem
to
is
someone else.
they turn us into bagels, you know. We all start off as buns, but they turn us into bagels. They make a hole, and you heel round the hole. You heel round the hole.
To get into one of his
But the hole's always there. You heel round the hole, but the hole's always there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
C-Mac, were you going to say something?
Yeah, and
Yeah,
this
go
was
for it.
why I raised my hand.
Yeah, I thought maybe.
Yeah, kind of like a few folks here, but not as well as Steve. I did get to know Joe a little bit, if not away from the computer, at least away from the Steve Shives channel.
Yeah.
And yeah, just great guy, always asking how everything was going, asking what was up with his friends, and like one thing Steve was just saying, actually, this past summer, as you know, I was going through a lot job wise, and I was just running around and didn't have the time. But Joe was coming down to Philly for business and reached out. And unfortunately, I don't want to say I blew him off because I didn't. I was in the middle of job interviews and stuff, and didn't get to see him. And now, obviously, won't get to. And just talk to the people who are close to you and take time to see them. It's important.
Yeah. I mean, you never know.
Sorry about the cat. I'm sorry about the cat. I'm sorry about the cat.
It's okay. It's okay.
It's okay. Okay. Anyway, Geek, you were getting ready to say something.
Bang.
Yes. Well, I wish that Matthew was here so that he can speak up, because Matthew did say on the comment and the post that Joe Stevenson was the one person that he talked with from this group the most off stream as well too in DMs. But that's and Joe Stevenson helped Matthew a lot through Ancestry and 23andMe into because Matthew is also a black man as well too, and that does get tricky to find your ancestry up to a certain point as well too. And Joe Stevenson helped out a lot. So that which Matthew here to say his thoughts, because it did hurt him a lot. I'll say for me, it's yes, me and Serious Mind have fought here on this stream.
That's true. So, that's very true.
And yes, I did interrupt him when he was talking about capitalism. Well, he did not interrupt me, so I apologize for that as well too. I had to apologize for other things as well too. But even though we did not see eye to eye, he always at least respects me as well too, because he knows I come to my politics not because I want to tear down the whole system as well too, even though there's truth to that, is because of my love and compassion for my fellow man as well too, the people that are in charity links, the people I always mention in the Ask Way as well too. So
yeah, and I can tell you just from my own experience with him in private, he did respect you. I mean, I'm not going to say that he secretly thought you were the greatest person in the world, but he never, he never shit talked you to me. He never was like that fucking God, Jesus, he did, even when you guys would really go at it, he always respected you.
There was a couple of times he said never like to speak to me ever again. I was going to respect it.
Well, that was one of the things about Joe was, and it wasn't just you, there were a couple of people that he kind of went through cycles like that with, where he would get into an argument and it would get really heated. And he would kind of, that never happened with us, fortunately, but with other people, I saw it. And, or he would be like, that's it, I'm done. I'm never talking to him again. I'm never talking to her again. Or, and usually what would happen was some time would go by, sometimes a long time. Sometimes it took months, but sometimes it would just take a few days or a few weeks. And he would be like, no, I mean, do I really want, was this argument that kind of an argument? Was this, because sometimes you do have that kind of an argument with someone where you do decide, okay, I'm done, I'm out, and it sticks. And that's the right thing to do. But with Joe, he would do I really want to just never speak to this person again because of this? Or is there some way we can figure this out? And so he was that kind of a guy. And I'm glad that you mentioned his ancestry research, because that was another thing that he did so much work to find relatives, because he was black, and because with black Americans, once you get past a certain point in history, and I think we can all guess what that point is, it can be really difficult to find your family history. And he had you know, mixed heritage. He had white people in his background and he had black folks in his background. And he did so much work for so many years to get back in touch with, you know, distant relatives, like cousins and second cousins, people that, like, I mean, I couldn't care less, but for my family, but for him, it was just such a source of joy and pride that he was able to reach out and discover these people. And, you know, and again, just like I was saying, like, he would take trips to go visit friends. He would take trips to go meet members of his family that he had just discovered through his research.
Well, at least that sounds interesting.
Yeah.
Would you like to know what I found out about my ancestors?
Please.
They were mill workers, and one was a farmer, and they sold up the farm and moved to the city. And that's it. That's as far back as I could get. I can't find anything else more about them. I did try, you know, I've looked at records. Well, they sold the farm and then moved. Well, where did they move to? Well, they moved to Manchester, Manchester in the United Kingdom. Yeah, and then, well, then they had a son and a daughter, and the son went off and did this, and the daughter died at about 4. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm not going to get any farther back than the farm, am I? That's it. You know, I'm not going to get any further back than the farm. Yeah, the farm. And I mean, the chap who did some of the research for me and helped me said, I've got the deed of sale for the farm, you know, it's a public record. I said, well, so who owned the farm? He said, well, it was probably in the family. And once it was sold, it became part of a big conglomerate, or it just became fallow. And I kind of, and that's it. That's it. You know, there's me kind of, I want more information.
Right. Where did I come from?
Where did I come from?
Who am I?
Who am I?
Where do you come from? Where do you go? Where do you come from? Cotton Eye Joe?
Cotton Eye Joe, that's the answer.
My father spun this wonderful tale about me having ancestors who were coach guards and highwaymen. No, we were very boring people who lived very...
Does anybody else have something they want to share about Joe before we dive into other topics? If not, that's okay.
Yeah. Just a quick Nick Jensen like overslept and is exhausted, and like he wanted to say hi, but also quickly from Super Chat,
yes,
it's from the Super Chat, Joe Dax, like I have to go to sleep. I want to tell you, Steve, you are my favorite Star Trek daddy, and he'd like to give you a Super Chat for like $5.
Thank you, Joe. Oh, I missed that. Oh, thank you, Geek, for putting that out. Yeah, a Star Trek daddy. I guess that I've reached that age. Yeah. I've reached that age. I'm that level of maturity now that
you have gray hairs in your beard. You're just gonna be
That's true.
By people
That's
younger.
True. I'm going for the Admiral Vance look from Star Trek, where people can be like, I don't think I'm ever going to get to Oded Fair territory, but but I'm moving in that direction.
Anyway, so on the subject of friendship, which is sort of parallel.
Yeah.
Steve, I don't like Starfleet Academy. I tried writing the
okay. Well, let's
but
yes.
On the subject of friendship, you didn't like Lower Decks and I did, but we're friends. And I'm not gonna do what that Mary Sue did for Nerdrotic when he put the Star Trek thing up, the Star Trek figurine, to see if it got more views.
Oh, is that what people are talking about? I didn't.
Yeah,
I saw people on Twitter saying, "Oh, video of a Spock doll and got more views." Like,
yeah, she had a complete meltdown over this plastic spot on the chair.
Yeah,
and saying it triggered her. How the bleak, excuse me, saying, how the bloody hell did it well trigger her? It's a plastic toy. He wasn't standing there using it for sexual purposes. It's a toy.
People get.
I'm sorry. I hate people who say I was triggered by a plastic toy. It's like me saying, "Oh, Steve, I've been triggered by the Batman behind you."
Yeah.
It's like me saying, "Steve, move that Batman because I'm triggered by Batman." Oh,
well,
Jesus,
I mean, look, if you had been like assaulted by a guy in a Batman costume and you told me that, I would move the Batman. I'm not going to be a jerk about it. But if it's just like, I really didn't like that last Batman movie, can you get rid of that? Like, no, I can't. You're going to have to live with it.
Get a life, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, get a life, man. Like if you have like a serious reason, like, no, that seriously, that really upsets me because of something that happened to me. Okay, I understand. I'm sorry.
Steve, I would suggest that you have made it evident over the years. What your response would be is, "Shut up, nerd."
Shut up, nerd. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's
From my chest, it would be
Yeah.
shut up,
Which brings
nerd.
me.
Go ahead.
which I
Sorry,
think-
go ahead.
wait, which brings me to why I raised my hand. In the
Ah,
first place.
please, yes, let's go for it.
Yes, because it seems you're very popular these days with Reddit. You know, they absolutely love the fact that you called them out on the whole chair thing and whatever. And they're like,
God.
"Oh no, they just got," and they summoned the spirit of Turgeson for people who know about the sad puppies in the 2010s. I'm like, I literally answered. I don't know if it what was like. You bringing the sad puppies back to this? People who were so upset that other people were winning Nebula awards that they tried to take over the sci-fi.
Oh, that's right.
convention.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of guy. That's your guy who's like, well, back in the day, you could just see a cover and it was like a lady with a laser gun. Yeah, in 1950s, when authors equated sexual ability with sexual freedom, right? I will write an entire book about spaceships. And by the way, all the women love the protagonist and find it hot because he's the smartest thing ever. And they're like, yeah, that guy. I'm sorry, you're
You're
an
not
idiot.
talking about Robert Heinlein or anything, are you?
I'm talking about all of them. Arthur C. Clarke, all of them were like
All of
that.
them.
I
would say, given Heinlein's actual writing, it's surprising that his covers weren't that, but they kind of weren't.
No, the covers weren't. That's to be fair, but man, was he misunderstood?
Oh
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. And I mean it. I really mean it. I don't like the way she sits in the chair is maybe the dumbest reason I've ever heard for someone not liking a show.
I'm not saying a lot.
That's it's like there are reasons. Like, I don't think the show is perfect myself. You know, even with, I think the 3 episodes they've released so far have been pretty damn good, but I've told people I got to watch the first 5 episodes. I am not a fan of episode 5. I'm not going to spoil it, but even that, I mean, there are parts of it that I liked. I just didn't like it overall. But
I haven't seen the screeners, but people are saying that episode 5 for a lot of folks is where they start liking it.
That and that doesn't surprise me at all, given what episode 5 is about. And again, I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but yes, given the nature of episode 5, that doesn't surprise me at all. That, and once it's out publicly, it would not surprise me at all if everybody says this is the best episode. I think it's by far the worst episode, but you can draw your own conclusions about why that might be. I'm sure most people who know me, when they see the episode, they will know immediately why I don't like it. But you know, so there's reasons to not like it. I mean, and I'm certainly not trying to, like, people, whenever you with some people, whenever you express a contrary opinion, they're like, "Oh, what's it like to be a shill for Paramount?" Like,
I mean, that you like, not liking the show because of how that woman sat in the chair in that scene is much like how like Steve from Steve and Friends hates like Kellogg's because they discontinued like a comic from like the 1950s or something like that. And
it's so. And you know,
there are plenty of good reasons to hate Kellogg for what they've done in the past, anyway.
Yeah, for like hate them for like being an evil corporation or something. Don't hate them for like they discontinued.
Or hate them for Kellogg for being like a moralist who like didn't want people to come.
Yeah, exactly. But like, there's and a lot of people pointed this out. People who agree with me in the replies to the various social media posts I've made about it. You know, because the excuse is, well, it's not just about the way she sits in the chair. She's the captain. She needs to set a standard. They're in the military. She needs to be a leader. And it's like, when on TNG, when Commander Riker would be just leaning, not only the Riker maneuver, everybody points out the Riker maneuver where he like throws his leg over a chair. Even beyond that, there are so many scenes in TNG where he's just hanging out on the bridge. He's leaning against control panels while he's on duty.
Dialing the Romulans.
He's got his leg up, hasn't he? Against Wesley.
He puts his leg up on the thing. Yeah.
And
it's like
kind of, that's very casual, Riker.
Yeah, exactly. It's not. There were moments like that in the original series. There are moments like that throughout TNG. It's, if you want to be a canon nerd, and if you want to be the kind of person that's like, it must be consistent all the way through and every show needs to match every other show, it's been established from way back that the level of discipline in Starfleet is not comparable to an actual real world military. It's just not. They have a chain of command, they have ranks, you have to follow orders, there's a level of professionalism that is expected. But it's like people said, oh, if a captain on an aircraft carrier sat in this chair like that, what would you think? It's not a real military. It's not a real person.
It's a quasi-military at best.
Yeah, it's more like NASA with a stricter command structure.
NASA.
You know,
NASA.
So the
Yeah.
subordinates of the
Story.
captain of an aircraft carrier wouldn't be allowed to question how the captain sits.
Yeah, let the captain sits however the fuck the captain feels. And that's the other thing. People say, well, she should respect the chair. It's her chair. She's the captain. It's her chair. She can sit in it however the fuck she wants. I mean,
we want respect for an inanimate object and not the person who's sitting in, who chooses to sit in it and how they want to sit in it.
Like, it's become this totem of like the chair. Like, fuck you, fuck the chair. Watch the show. Decide whether you like it or not based on stuff that actually do you not relate to the characters? Do you not care about the story? Oh, she sits in the chair wrong. Shut up. God,
this is like
do a K mutiny over the chair sitting.
This is like complaining about the missing badge bone from a video game character.
Yeah, or like exactly, or like, yeah. Oh, and then people are like, you know, there's a joke in the first episode where a cadet comes up to the doctor during like medical check-in and says, "I swallowed my comm badge," which I laughed at. I thought was funny. And that wasn't even, and the thing is, when she says I swallowed my comm badge, that's not even the punchline to the gag. The punchline to the gag is when the doctor kind of looks at her with resignation and says, already? Like, that's what's funny about it. That's the joke, not I swallowed my comm badge. The doctor just being like, yep, here we go. You know, here come these doofus kids.
It implies it's happened before. It implies that people have taken the comm badge and kind of,
exactly.
He does on my mouth. You know how
he doesn't go like, what? How did that happen? Oh my God, quick, take her to the medical bay. No, he's like, all right. You know, like that.
Another day in paradise.
Like
at least it was the mouth
exactly.
It feels like there's like a hazing or something that cadets go through that inevitably leads to them swallowing it.
Exactly.
The doctor gives very much like third child parent energy.
Yes,
like he's just been through
exactly.
this.
He just doesn't care at this point. He's like, well, they're not dead, so they'll be fine.
Yeah. We'll give them an injection. It'll dissolve the badge, and we'll reissue with another one. But you have to go down and fill in 3 forms, and then give your ID and your fingerprint. And don't play with it this time.
Well, and like really, I mean, if you're going to be like, you know, someone who wants to be super strict about the canon, we've seen by this point in the fictional history of Star Trek, they're this far into the future, they use the transporter for everything. So I imagine if you swallow something you're not supposed to swallow, it can't be that big of a deal for the doctor just to go, okay, there, beamed it out of you. Like, they use the transporter for everything. So swallowing something you're not supposed to swallow probably isn't that big of a deal as it would be, you know. And also we see later on in that episode, that same cadet, she's kind of a mess. You know, she's the one who, when the crisis happens, she's the one who they find wandering through the hall, like verbally saying red alert over and over again. And she's kind of dazed, and Caleb has to stop her and say, you don't have to say it. You know, the computer does that. You don't have to keep saying red alert. And then she just kind of pats him on the shoulder and says, okay, bye. And just kind of wanders away, just like shell-shocked.
Maybe she needs transferring to the merchant service. You know, we love it
it's
very
like,
much, but you're not really for the war school and you're not really the academy. But we can transfer you to the merchant service as a desk job. I'm sure you will, your contribution will be appreciated. I'm trying to think of
the Starfleet Merchant Marine.
Well, no, I'm just trying to think of
there you go.
The wokeness I encountered when it wasn't work. Now, before I got really badly disabled, I did a lot of things. And some of the things I did, you might say for a 16-year-old, weren't exactly, not so much proper, but you don't expect a 16-year-old to be inserting catheters on grown-ass men. And I've had to do that and stitch up wounds. Yeah. But I can remember having to remove 2 toes from a gangrenous foot. They decided to sail around the Straits of Hormuz. And the problems with the Middle East, and people forget this, cut yourself and don't get it treated, you kind of think fucked up in a big way, because people go, oh, I'll just splash salt water on it, that'll heal it. No, you need to get mercurochrome on it and you need to get it looked at. And this chapter decided that's
Rub
not
some dirt on it.
it's all right. He just said you need looking at. No. Anyway,
It'll be fine. Rub some dirt on it.
this chap finally limps into what we had. We had a small kind of galley, and I looked at his foot and went, oh shit. And the toes were pretty much black. And I said, you're gonna have to lie down. We're gonna have to take these little toe and the toe next bit off. And I remember this girl who I said, you're gonna have to assist me. Hold his hand, do something, talk sweetly to him. And I remember she did the come to being true. She said, oh God, I can't do this. This is so awful. And I looked and said, and I remember now I can swear like a sailor.
Okay. And you can do that here too, by the way, whatever you feel like.
Yeah. Oh, for fuck's sake, Camilla. This is not the time to be a wuss. These days I'd call her a woke kind of bitch. But at the time, this is not the time to be a wuss. I've got to take a couple of toes off. I'm going to inject lidocaine around the area. That's a numbing agent. You can cut the toes off. And there wasn't much blood because the flesh had died. But it was, oh, I can't do this. It's just so awful. Oof. Shut up and go.
Shut up and let me heal you.
Shut up. Okay. Shut up and hold his hand. You don't have to watch.
We have a couple of. I don't want to let the hands get too stacked up. So we have some people with hands up. Isaiah, you go for it. You've had your hand up for a little bit.
Okay, so about Star Trek Academy. I have not seen it. I'm probably not going to see it because I'm not one of those Trekkies that complains about stuff that this doesn't look like this. Like I'm not one of those people, but I'm gonna be honest. If I'm gonna make a Starfleet Academy show, I like if this was my show, like my show that will likely never get made. I probably would have said it like, okay, so it's like Academy, so it's like young people, right?
Yeah.
So I would have went with a Saved by the Bell approach. I would have gone that way. I would have like set it during like the Wrath of Khan movies because those were set in the 80s. So might as well,
Oh, I gotcha.
So if you think about it, I would have just done that and just had kind of had like a 16 candles without the rape stuff. Did all of that.
Never a bad idea. Never a bad idea.
Made it like a goofy kind of like Riverdale, but like with Starfleet.
Well, I mean, I will say this new show is a little bit like that. It does have a very once they settle in and it actually focuses on the school.
Right.
It does have kind of a goofy tone, which I really like.
I just lost it when they said it was supposed to take place in the 30th century. I just was like,
well, yeah, it's post Discovery.
Yeah,
that gives. I mean, that like I said, there are things about that version of Star Trek that I like. There are things that like I'm not enamored of the way they have people using the transporter like for everything. I like scenes of people walking down halls. I like scenes of people going like running places. But
I wanted to if I could share like
okay.
It would be nice if like starships. I'm gonna send a request.
Okay.
Well, like I was Cause like me and you like we like our like Starship consoles to be more like actually touching buttons and stuff.
Yeah, buttons and switches and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So can I share right quick?
Yeah, you should be able to.
Okay. Cause like I was wondering like can like a Starfleet show look like the bridge, like some of the consoles look like the scenes from 2001.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Like with like for example, like the warp drive, like that could be like a lever, someone like like a throttle.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, and when you look at that shot of you know, the like Dave in the cockpit on the Discovery there from 2001, it doesn't look that much different than the bridge of the Enterprise on TOS as far as the control panels. It's like bright colors and colorful switches.
Doesn't Ortegas have a throttle?
I think the Enterprise in Strange New Worlds has a throttle, and it had one in the Kelvin movies too. That
and by the way,
yeah.
like people complaining about, the captain is supposed to be the captain. Well, you're gonna hate my Star Trek because my captain is basically like a I forgot what are those cat people called? The cat.
Oh, the
Indians or
the Cations.
That's
yeah,
it.
that's
I knew
it.
Steve would know.
Like my captain's
I needed someone to jog my memory, but yeah.
Like my captain's gonna be one of them, and she's gonna be like this sassy kind of like trans person, like
cool.
Yeah, she's gonna be one of those.
Cool.
Like, so they're not gonna like my Star Trek either.
Yeah, there's a lot of selective memory.
One of those trans cat people.
One of those trans cat people, you know. Well, it's like one of the, I love that because if that ever happened, it would make the people complaining about how Holly Hunter sits in a fucking chair, like their heads will just explode.
Basically, if anyone's ever seen it, like if you know like a YouTuber named Queen Coke Francis, I'm basing it after her.
Okay.
I mean, with this stuff in what I've seen so far, and I've seen the episodes that have just been released.
Yeah.
You know, the only thing her sitting in the chair funny does not even faze me in the
I didn't even notice other than to maybe be a little charmed by it. Yeah.
And the swearing at this point I don't notice it. I think I noticed it the first time during Picard, and that was the last time I noticed it. But what does I think a little bit throw me out is when they use modern colloquialisms. Not so much just like the normal chatting.
Oh, that hasn't bothered.
But when they use specifically like timely colloquialisms, that does kind of throw me out of the immersion. Just because I'm like, that's not going to hold up.
I mean, I guess if somebody made like a Joe Biden reference, I might be like, hey, wait a minute.
Or do 6-7.
Yeah. So if one of them does 6-7, I'm like, wait a minute.
I feel like it's just shy of 6-7, though. That's like
or if they're like showing each other memes on their pads and they're like saying meme, like, have you seen this meme? You know, like, are they still gonna be doing that? But I mean, like, I guess the test for me is always, do I notice it when I'm watching it? You
exactly,
know,
and that's what
me. Yeah, and if it's that way for you, that's completely fine. Like I didn't like. I'm with the way the way they talk and the more sort of colloquial way they talk. It's one of those things that I sort of register, but I don't really mind it because I'm completely fine with Star Trek characters. Not like it doesn't need to be like sort of quasi Shakespearean dialogue. They can have them. I would love it if they would just have them talk like ordinary people. And I mean, yeah, you don't want to have them making like too many like really, really exact pop culture references like that one of us would make, but a little more relaxed kind of, informal, chatty kind of.
And for me, it just breaks the immersion for a second. I'm not getting all worked up about it. I still enjoy the show.
Right. Well, just like, I mean, my version of that with Starfleet Academy, at least, is that I think just the first 2 episodes until we get like episode 5, which I've referred to a few, but there are a couple of little fan servicey things in the first 2 episodes that I notice and that I kind of go for like a second and then it's over. And the rest of the show is really good. So I don't care. Like they do a little joke with the Doctor when the Doctor first shows up, or they call back to one of his lines from Voyager. And I'm like, why'd they have to do that? I hate that. But then the rest of that.
Most of the fan servicey stuff is in the background in this show.
That's true.
It's the thing.
You'll see, exactly. Like a lot of people have talked about, I think it's in episode 2 or maybe episode 3. But it's one of the episodes. It's one of the episodes they've released so far, where there's like the exocomp, is there, and it's not exactly in the background. It's in the scene with the other characters, but it's not doing anything. It's just kind of there, like they're taking an elevator ride together, and the exocomp is just kind of there along with everybody else. And so it's there. You can notice it. You can kind of have a little chuckle, like, oh hey, but it's not like in your face, like look.
It's a little bit like the cutscene when they're going to Mos Eisley and the special editions.
Yeah,
they got that robot.
Yeah.
It's like Steve, I can understand it in one sense, because I remember when I was at school. Okay, English public schools are very different from American. But there was this sort of phrase going around, oh, nobody ever says the word actually. No, I know that's ridiculous. But think of teenage kids. You can't say the word actually because nobody uses the word actually. So we all went, well, actually, I think, and you look back,
it's actually a very useful word
when you got a job, and you think, God, was I fucking nuts? Was I so locked up in this stupid sort of word that we all kept repeating again and again? So if you look at it like that, there are all these words that you use. Oh, we're all trying to be posh, and all these words flying around. And you can see it's a kind of high school thing that once they all go to their ships, they'll all sit down and think, God, what were we on? Was there some gas being pumped through the halls to make us act like complete nutcases?
Right. Okay, back to the hands now. Connor, your hand's up. Go for it, buddy.
Hi, I just wanted to make an introduction because it's like I'm a long-time patron, first-time chat joiner.
Yes.
I'm Carl the Cinephile. I've but a bunch of the questions on the Q&A and
hi Carl.
Yeah. Carl Connor, it's my actual name, or Carlisle is fine, But I just wanted to say hi, and I'm glad I actually get to say hello to everybody.
It's good to have you here.
Nice to be able to put a face to like the name. Oh, by the way, because this has come up before, I am some random geek, and people are like, "Wait a minute, are you some? Is that some random geek?" It's like, yes, I'm. This is some random geek. This is my face. I'm the one with like the many hats. And someone did ask us, how many hats does some random geek has? I counted at 25 at one point, just a little.
25.
I have a coworker who comes to work every day in a different hat like yours, and I'm like. Also wanted to bring up when one of you was talking about like the researching their family history and all that. It's reminded me a lot of my grandfather. For a while was super into genealogy, and we have Scottish ancestry. We've known that for years, and he did some research, and he was very disappointed to find out that we were not Highlanders, we were Lowlanders, and so he was sad about that for a long time.
Wrong kind of Scottish.
Yep.
That's great. I have some Scottish ancestry somewhere back there too, but I've never researched it back that far. But Shives is a Scottish derived name.
I just know that all my ancestors are super white. I'm from the super white parts of Europe.
That's what I expect too. I've never done the DNA test, but I expect that would be the same for me too.
Yeah. No, I don't even need to do the DNA. Just
Yeah,
just
all us
I like to say that
ancestors. We all want to be descended from William Wallace or Robert the Bruce or David the First, who was King of Scotland when I think somebody it's a long story, complicated. It's when Richard III took over the throne. One of the Edward IV's sisters managed to escape Scotland to a nunnery, and he took her as his wife eventually. So it's a long,
romantic.
Oh,
anyway,
you should do
I know I remember
the university challenge when they didn't get titulars.
You're gonna get told to shut up in a second if you don't let him in.
Thank you. Just a quick note. I would like to say a lot of people in my family would like to say, "Oh yeah, we're all pure Europeans and Spanish," and then I remember my mother said with a smile that one of her grandmothers was a slave owner, and I'm like, there it is.
Ding, ding, ding.
There it is. And when she said it with a smile, I was like, I wouldn't smile about that at all. It's not.
Yeah, like that's no. I mean, you don't have to flog yourself about it, but don't be proud of it.
Yeah, thank you for knowing. It's good to know.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, back to the hands. Julian, your hand's been up for a while.
No, you're muted right now, so you gotta unmute yourself.
All right, sorry.
There we go.
You had a somewhat different experience having kind of gotten to sort of binge the first 5 episodes. We watched,
yeah,
I mean, the first 2 and really disliked it. I thought the first episode.
He did.
Well, she liked it better than. I thought the first episode was just incredibly paint by numbers. The heavy-handedness of the, I'm this scrappy outsider. I'm too cool to follow your rules, man. And I get on, and 5 minutes later, I'm hacking the Starfleet security and the comm system because I just was like, it's too much. The second episode, just the dialogue read like it had been written by an LLM that was trained on descriptions of human.
Yeah.
But like had no actual human conversations in the training set. And then the third one was like fun and lighthearted and kind of great. I thought, okay, well, I guess I'll keep watching it if they are finding their legs. But I thought the first 2 were not stellar examples of television writing.
I get that. I mean, I actually thought the first episode was pretty strong for a first episode. I think I said when I talked about it on the Trek Exploration podcast, which is the reason I got to see that sneak peek. They shared their screeners with me.
Nice.
I don't usually get screeners on my own because I'm not a shill, and the Paramount doesn't send them to me because I think they assume they can't count on a positive review from me.
You're a wild card.
Sometimes I like it and sometimes I don't. But no, so I thought
it would be folly to count on you for a positive.
It would be folly. It would be.
Yeah.
Well, like I thought the first episode, I still wonder because I've watched it twice now because I watched it again when it came out publicly. I still wonder if we need all of what we get in the very beginning. With little Caleb and his mom and that sort of like prologue. That to me, that's where it feels like the writing is a little clunky because I'm like, it's such a having that action scene when we see him the first time we see him when he's older and he's like trying to break out of like the prison shuttle that they're taking him to, like that's such a great little action scene, and it happens like 15 minutes into the episode when we've just seen all of this prologue stuff about little Caleb, and I'm like, could we just lose the little Caleb stuff and find some other way to introduce Paul Giamatti maybe, and
not cut it in as flashback. So
maybe
cut it out and then cut it in as flashback when he's maybe looking at a pad he's stolen and he's found a picture of his mum from the trial, and that would work as well.
But I will say, go ahead.
The only bit I didn't like, and I can't remember which episode because I've seen about 3 now. I have.
Yeah, there's 3 have come out.
Yeah. And that's the bit where the captain's sitting in this turbo lift where they've got seats, and the doctor sits next to her. She stands up and moves away, and he stands up and moves next to her again. And I thought, hang on, somebody who's basically shown you by their actions that they're uncomfortable with you being that close. Get the hint, buddy boy.
But he's telling her something important. He's talking about like the mucus that they're experimenting on or whatever his
He
his
can
issue
do
is.
that from a foot away. He doesn't need to cozy up next to her as though he's about to put his hand on her knee.
I don't know. I've had
men do that. The last man that did that to me, I grabbed his bits and squeezed because he didn't
I'm not saying it's appropriate behavior, but I think it's consistent with the Doctor. Even in this show, I think it's consistent with the Doctor. And I think it's kind of funny that like he's the sort of person where if you approach him and he doesn't want to talk to you, he can't get away from you fast enough. But if the roles are reversed and he needs to talk to you and you're like, oh Christ, this guy, he doesn't let you get away. Like I think that's kind of funny. But I mean, I might prefer episode 3 to the first 2 as well. Now that I think about it, I do really like episode 3. And I like how the kids kind of continue to transcend like the little boxes that they were introduced in. I think that's a really nice way to sort of bring the characters out. Like, oh, this guy's the rebel and this guy's the asshole. And this girl's the overachiever and this girl's the awkward one. And, they're all still that, but they're also showing that they're more than that as well, and the sort of lines between those categories start to blur a little bit. I think that's nice. Anyway, somebody was trying to say something just now.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I am like super behind on pretty much everything Trek related, and I'm wondering, since I've not watched the later seasons of Discovery, am I gonna be like super lost if I try to watch Academy?
No, it makes no difference. No, they tell you the only thing about Discovery's latter seasons that's important is there was a thing that happened about 100 years before the time this show is set called the burn that basically just messed everything up. That's literally all you need to know. You don't need to know the details of it. You don't need to know what it was or why it happened. The whole relevance of it for Starfleet Academy.
It's better if you don't know the details.
It's actually given what the explanation turned out to be, it's better that you don't know all the details because the ultimate explanation was a little but
the end result is the Federation is much smaller.
I really
really
hate it when, like, you know, things become homework. It's like,
it's not like that.
It's like, you know, that's what I've been feeling about, like, with Marvel lately. It's like, in order to understand one project, you have to have watched, you know, all these Disney Plus shows and all these other movies. At this point, it's just getting to be too much. And so, like, I was worried it was gonna be like that with Star Trek, which has even more content.
No, there's the first episode begins with a voiceover by the lead character, by Holly Hunter's character, that tells you everything you need to know to be oriented for the starting point, and everything after that, you know, you don't need to have watched anything else, and you should be good.
They tell you what you need to know, but they don't like bog you down or
no. That's another one of the things I really like about it. Like, it's not like heavy with exposition and lore, and you know, it's very light on its feet and very freestanding. A few little Easter eggs and, you know, what I consider obnoxious references aside, like in terms of like the story and the plot and who the characters are, none of that. It's all very self-contained. So yeah, you should be good.
My tolerance of that is higher than yours, but I do appreciate that it's not, you know, too much of that.
Me too, believe me, especially given the direction that Star Trek has been going, and everything else as well has been going, like toward everything has to be densely. And like you said, I hope you did your homework. I hope you've watched every other thing that this is part of so that you follow it. You know, like this new show definitely is not that. Anyway,
everyone got that?
Everybody got it. Neil, for the last time, your hand's been up. Go for it.
Thank you very much. Finally, you got a face to go with the inane questions that I've been asking you in the chats for the last month and a half.
It's about time.
Yeah, it's about time. I guess one of the things that I to contribute to the conversation is that every series has its own style of humor, and it's like, you know, it's to your own taste. I've watched the first 3 episodes of Starfleet Academy. I like it. I think it's good. I think actually, it's you get to kind of see where it's going, but you don't. And there's some things that are not, you know, maybe they're reminiscent of the CBS production style that, but the thing is, it's a matter of, okay, am I being entertained? Am I being entertained? And if I am, then if I don't feel like my time is being wasted, and I feel like there is some internal continuity and consistency, I can enjoy it. I'm not. This is not me being sycophantic, Steve, to you. But
please continue.
Yes, please. It's just that you have made it a point that the people who nitpick and get pedantic to the point of insolence. Sorry. Okay.
How dare they?
It's me. I get pedantic to the point of insolence. When I write my fan fiction, I get absolutely nuts. He can yell at me. Fine.
Anyway, go ahead.
So all I'm saying is I'm choosing to take things as they come. I'm choosing to just see if I like it or if I don't. Some of Lower Decks was okay, and some of it wasn't. But it was for me. But it didn't mean that I'm the, you know, my judgment is the be all and end all. And so everybody gets to have an opinion. I love that.
Of course.
Anyway, so that part is the last thing that I really hate about people go like, well, Star Trek is ruined for everyone, every time, everywhere. It's like, okay, you didn't like it. That's
exactly.
Let's get to the reality check here. You didn't like it. That's fine.
Oh, my childhood is ruined.
I liked it.
My favorite my favorite like sort of subcategory of the people who have reacted negatively to what I've said recently about the show and about certain people's reactions to it is the people that say, well, he's obviously not a fan.
No.
Like, he obviously doesn't understand Star. He probably doesn't even watch it. I'm like, if you only knew. Like, I've been watching this shit since I can't even remember. And if I
saw Star Trek the motion picture when it came out.
Yeah.
I had George Takei run past me while he was doing his daily jog. He's like, hello. And
that's amazing.
No, since I was
born in it, molded by it.
Yes, you only adopted Star Trek.
So glad I came on.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's like people forget that there were terrible episodes of the original series.
Oh my God, yes.
People kind of slap their forehead and go, "Oh, for Christ's sake, why did they?"
It's like the Futurama line. It's
and
like
there was
they're like
horrible episode
like
of TNT.
5 good ones.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Well, like you were saying, Neil. I mean, even most people who know about my opinion of Lower Decks know that I generally have an unfavorable opinion of it. But even that show really didn't lose me until like after season 2. Like season 2, I was still hanging with it. And then it just kind of wore me down where I was like, oh, it's just going to be this. Like they're just going to do this for the rest of the show. And that's when I kind of fell off on it. But I mean, I still think the first episode of Lower Decks is pretty good and is a really good, not just a really good Star Trek episode, but a really good episode of like a Star Trek comedy series. And if the rest of the show had been more like that and been that style of humor and, had spoofed or satirized Star Trek in the way that show did, I probably would have liked it a lot more. But again, it's, other people watch Lower Decks and they think, oh, this is the greatest thing ever. That's fine. I don't necessarily think they're like awful people. Like,
I think we should be taking bets on what it is in episode 5 that specifically sets Steve off, because we haven't seen it. At least I
you'll
haven't
know
seen
exactly
it yet.
what it is. No, first, it's
I'm
not
sure
just
when I see it, I will. But my guess going in,
the one that centers on
a
like
hologram head of William Shatner.
and he's like, hello, it's me, Captain Kirk. Welcome to Starfleet Academy.
Well, if they can get a hologram of the Doctor, why can't they get a hologram of Captain Kirk and have him introduce him? Sorry, I'm being difficult. I'm sorry.
No, just a big holographic Shatner head asking for teens with attitude.
Oh my God, if they did Shatner as Zordon, they would totally get me. I'd be like, are they going to do Star Trek Power Rangers and Shatner as Zordon? Are they going to do that? Because you know why?
But what color ranger would William Shatner be?
Because it would be
5 of them.
Because it would be what I would love about it, and what I've liked a lot about Starfleet Academy so far. Although again, it goes in different directions in different times, but like it's irreverent. I love, and that's one of the things that kind of tossed me off of Lower Decks when it started to feel like they would rather, give a nice big warm hug to Star Trek than make fun of it. And that kind of lost me. I was like, I don't need you to do, you don't need to sell me on how good Star Trek is. Okay. I watch it. You don't need to I don't need a Star Trek show that's all about how wonderful Star Trek is. That's putting your head too far up your ass, but so if you could do something
they kind of lost it.
Yeah.
They kind of lost it when they started being really serious, really kind of let's go to the edge. Let's show how important this ship is. And you're thinking, no, it was more fun when you were fun and irreverent and you made.
I mean, there are times to be serious, but and I don't, and this goes for Star Trek, this goes for anything. I don't want the thing I'm watching to tell me how good the thing I'm watching is. Like that just feels like that should be a basic rule of storytelling. You don't stop in the middle of a story and go, by the way, you all should know this is a really great story I'm telling you. Like, that's what that was my problem. And I was just going to say that. You knew exactly where I was going. Because when Uhura says that in that Strange New Worlds episode, it's not that I have any objection to anything she says in that speech, like the content of it. That's how I feel about Star Trek. I don't want the Star Trek show to say that. Like, you don't want a character in Star Trek to say, you know what's awesome? Star Trek. No, what? No. You know what I really love? It's like Captain Picard, like turning to the camera and saying, "This is a great fucking show, isn't it? God damn it!" Like, no,
Well, I don't
exactly.
know. In the middle of Frankenstein, you get this long, convoluted thing about traveling in, I don't know, somewhere in Europe or the Alps or something. You think, what the hell? He's just gone from killing his Frankenstein just killed his wife, and then you go off on some tangent about traveling in Europe on a holiday, and you're thinking, what's that living?
Yeah.
What's the ever living? If
What
you
are we
read the whole
doing?
book, that's weird, but I know what you mean, Steve. It's like you should be able to write the story and people should be able to grasp it from the story. Not
exactly.
Sort of, you shouldn't say halfway through the story, "Oh, it's great. Don't you just love my original character?
And
isn't Captain Kirk marvelous?"
And especially like if you're celebrating, like in that Uhura speech, like you're celebrating, you know, the social relevance of it and how important it is for a show like Star Trek to exist, where it you know, exemplifies equality and social progress and tolerance. It's like, yeah, I know, I get it. I watched the show. I don't need a character from the show to all but do a take to camera and say, it's really good that we have a show that's all about equality and morality and social progress. You know, it's really important that kind of thing exists.
It's
Get
for
it?
right-wing Star Trek fans.
Yeah, well, that's true. It's true. It's like, hey, if you're against equality and tolerance, you're doing this shit wrong. You need to go back and watch the show again, because that's what this whole fucking thing has been about. Anyway, Isaiah, we're going to probably go a little over time today, but Isaiah, your hand's been up. Go for it.
So here's my helmet.
Yeah.
Nice.
Want to see me put it on?
Put that baby on. Yeah. Put that baby on, buddy.
Yeah, anticlimactic if you didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can put it up.
Nice.
Nice.
I love it. And you know what's cool is we're this week. Yeah, exactly. Oh my God, you're not in space, are you? Put it back down. What's really cool is like just we're reviewing The Martian on late seating which we're recording like right after this. Yeah. And so you have that helmet on, and I literally just watched The Martian again this morning, and so now I'm thinking like, there's the helmet shot. There he is. It's really good. It looks great, man.
Yeah, and it's part of that suit of that suit that I made.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was hilarious in The Martian when Sean Bean references the Council of Elrond having been in The Lord of the Rings. I thought that was utterly hilarious.
I loved it when Kristen Wiig said, "I hate all you people." I was like, there's my character. There's my character. She's like, I hate you people.
I did my thesis on
there
Tolkien,
she is.
So yeah, I'm not excited.
Just like when, like I mentioned, I think I mentioned it last time when Hopper, where they're doing like they're mentioning like a Lord of the Rings reference in Stranger Things, and Hopper goes, "Jesus Christ." And I'm like, there's my guy. That's my guy. All right. Faragrim, you're next.
Yeah.
There it is.
There we go.
Hi. Nice to meet everybody visually and speaking.
Welcome.
Faragrim. My real name is Steve or Steven.
Oh my
husband
God.
is somewhere.
Nice.
He was shoveling because he's kind and
did you get
lazy
snow?
like
Did you get snow too?
So much snow.
Oh,
They
we got a
canceled
ton of
it.
it. Yeah.
Normally I wouldn't be on this because I would be at the theater because like once a month I go to Playhouse Square, which is the big theater district in Cleveland.
Okay.
But for the first time in a decade, they canceled the show.
Wow.
Which theater people, hell or high water, don't cancel.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So it was shocking to me to have that show canceled. Yeah, I just wanted to introduce myself since I've been crawling around comments for like a year-ish now, I think.
Yeah, well, it's good to meet you. officially.
It's nice to meet you guys too. I've mentioned before I love Vincent Price, and I have this painting of him on my wall.
Oh, that's so cool.
Oh, that's really cool.
That I got from apparently a guy in the movie Nope, the Jordan Peele movie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Who's in the monkey scene? Painted it.
Nice.
Oh wow.
He randomly sells paintings on eBay. And I was like, I kind of want to paint a Vincent Price. So I went
cool.
and I saw he happened to be selling one.
Nice.
Yeah, so I just want to say hi. Love having this little community to get to bounce thoughts off of. It's been really fun getting to ask questions and hearing Steve's answers and sometimes irreverent answers.
Sometimes
canon is BS. Make the thing that we're watching now good. Make it good. Though I do secretly love Enterprise. It was my first real Star Trek, admittedly watching every week. Plus Scott Bakula is just like a dreamboat. But
Scotty Bax, I'm there with you. Scotty Bax is my guy too, man. I love me some Skobax.
So yeah, I love Enterprise, but I won't keep everybody. I won't keep ranting. But nice to meet you all, and hopefully we'll continue to cross paths.
I hope so too.
Yeah, but
I hope
if
so
I
too.
could jump in here, I just real quick. I'm just going to say goodbye on that note of mentioning shoveling. I'm in Philadelphia, and I'm going to go be a good citizen and shovel my sidewalk.
Good for you.
Take care.
I'm just outside of Philly, so yeah, I'm just west.
We're all snowed in together.
Yeah, it's a place called King of Prussia.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I've been there. I've been there.
15 miles west of me.
Yeah.
Is it snowing in Hagerstown, Steve?
I can't see the window from here, but it may have stopped by this point. But yes, it was snowing. It's probably about a foot of snow outside. Yeah.
You guys had an ice protest a couple of days ago too.
There was one actually, and that was before what just happened. And again, with the second one that happened in Minneapolis. Yeah. So I assume there's going to be weather permitting. There's probably going to be another one fairly soon.
Yeah.
Remember, you have Second Amendment rights
that.
until
I have a bunch of family and friends there that I'm really concerned for.
Yeah. I know people in Minneapolis too. That I have a very old, longtime friend who texts me, and I love to hear from her, and I'm glad she reaches out to me, but it's always like, oh shit, what now? Are you okay?
My cousin is giving me like hourly updates about ICE being in her neighborhood, and all that sort of stuff. And I'm close, like I'm an hour and a half away, but it's also like I don't have a car, and my wife and I only have one car, and she needs it for work. So I can't do anything. I can't really help.
Just go. Yeah. Well, the other thing, the thing that it's made me realize is, Minneapolis is one of those cities that is smaller than you think it is. It's not like New York or Los Angeles where, like if you happen, it's like, oh, you're from LA. Do you know so-and-so? Probably not. There's like fucking 10 million people here. But with a city the size of Minneapolis,
as well too.
Yeah, with a city the size of Minneapolis, like again, it's a big city. There's a ton of people there, but it's not so huge that there's probably almost everybody who lives there has some, personal connection to what's going on, even if they've never, they don't know anybody personally who's been.
Even us watching from across the pond, are kind of looking at it and saying, okay, I don't know the whole story about when he's good, and I've watched a few videos.
Yeah.
But this second one, are you?
They executed a man.
Yeah,
it's no excuse. There's no possible excuse.
This is not a lawful killing. This is somebody who was pursued and murdered. And
what drives me up a wall is like,
and all I can think is that scene in V, for Vengeance, when he sends those masks out, and the police officer says, and the sergeant says, well, what's going to happen now? And the police sergeant says, someone's going to do something stupid.
Yeah.
And there's that little girl playing with the mask, because she's just playing with the mask, and one of the men kills her.
Yeah.
And I can see we're getting to tipping point.
Yeah.
From the outside looking in, I can see we're getting to tipping point. And sooner or later, they're going to kill somebody again. I don't, it might be one person, it might be 10 people. God help us, I hope it's not 10 people. And people are going to turn around and not stand there and let the ice agents, they're going to go for them. And little old men with hacksaws and carving knives and poles and rakes.
Yeah.
They don't, and baseball bats, then it's not going to be, we're going to hold back. It's going to be, we're going to beat them into the ground until they're bloody pulp. And then we're going to have, then you're going to have martial law.
Oh, it's going to,
And
yeah.
then
If
Trump's going to use that as an excuse to kind of send the military in and all the rest of it. And it's like watching a salt tower dissolve, you know? And it's awful because, as I said, you know, I've talked about getting this inheritance from my mum. My husband has said, would you like to go to the States? You've always said you wouldn't mind going back for the holiday. And I looked at, not at the moment.
Yeah,
Not
I would. I would recommend against
I'm sorry.
it.
Not at the moment.
No.
I would have loved to say it. I say, yes, Steve, we're floating through you know, your neck of the woods. You meet us at the coffee shop, you know, we'll meet you there, have a chat, and it's really great face. But now, no, not a chance.
Yeah, not at least not for a while.
No.
I wouldn't be asking people to come here. Greg, your hand's been up. Go for it.
Hi, everybody. I thought I'd introduce myself. I'm new here too, though.
I love the new people showing up, and I love the new people. Yeah,
you're very popular, Steve. Well, you are. Okay. So I just wanted to jump in and share a few things. As far as the captain in Starfleet Academy, she's half Lanthamite, right?
That's what they say. Yeah.
Yes. So she's same race as Papelia from Strange New World. So that's why she's kind of loose and why she's laid back, because it's just part of her culture, right?
Yeah.
So
she's kooky.
Okay.
Yeah, she's kooky.
Yeah, their culture is apparently kooky, but anyway.
Apparently.
So I just thought I'd throw that in. Oh, but as far as names go, my name is Gildersleeve.
Yes.
My students think my name is Glidersleeve. And also, I can actually trace that back to Britain to about 1279. Apparently, the name Gildersleeve comes from the fact that my ancestors wore gold on their sleeves. They were wealthy.
Fancy.
Now, what they did, what they
feels like you'd be a lord or something.
What?
It feels like you'd be a lord or something.
Lord Gildersleeve.
Lord Gildersleeve.
Well, I was going to say what they did with that money. I have no freaking idea because they didn't pass it on to me.
It didn't trickle down.
They wasted it somewhere along the way. So I've got their names
on gold sleeves mostly.
What's that?
On gold sleeves mostly.
Yeah.
Spent all their money on gold sleeves, the fools.
No, but I'm wondering if they were related. And this is dark and say, when I did some research into canonical law into the environment in London, I was doing some like the Black Death when I did the module. Very often clergy wore silver embellishments on their sleeves and on their cuffs. And I'm wondering if it's related to that. And that's where the name Silver Sleeves comes from. Because it was a nickname. It was a bad nickname that the common people used, because the clergy could get away with, you know, I'm up for theft. Oh, I'll just say the Lord's Prayer in front of the canonical court, and they'll just give me a penance. Common people for theft would get a hand or a finger cut. So silver sleeves was often a term of, oh, that's bloody silver sleeve. We got off on kind of, and it became like Christian was an insult. It supposedly originated in Antioch, although that could be mostly urban legend. It's hard to pick it out. So I'm wondering if silver sleeve, as in gold sleeve, kind of comes from that area. Oh, that's gold sleeve or Gildersleeve. He's only that because he managed to get away with something, and he's got all this money and he's managed to embellish his life thanks to, as you say, you don't know where the money went because they all spent it.
Thanks for sharing that. Yeah, that's fascinating. No, yeah.
Well,
Okay,
Gildersleeve's an awesome name compared to Klein.
They're both perfectly fine.
Klein is short and easy to spell, and I'll bet
Literally.
not many people, mispronounce it.
I had teachers and principals throughout my primary and secondary education named Klein, and I think I had 3 different spellings. I had a Klein the way you spell it, Neil. I had a Klein that was Kline, and I had one that was Cline. And as best as I can remember, they were all pretty cool. So like I have no. So as far as I'm concerned, it's a perfectly good name, because that's how I judge things, based purely on my own personal experience.
My English teacher, my English lecturer at university was called Karl Marx. He always went by his middle name because he didn't like his first name.
I went to middle school with a kid named Bruce Lee, and my God, how we mercilessly taunted him for that. It was, and looking back, I'm like, that was fucked up. That wasn't his fault. We should have been mad at that boy's parents. His parents did a truly, truly bad thing. Like, that should be a crime. Don't do that. Don't name your child like something that you know, like, oh, Bruce Lee, you know karate. Like that was his whole education. That was his whole education.
I was gonna name one of my kids Galileo, but I don't know if that would have been
That's a little different. I mean, Galileo is it's kind of an ostentatious name. Like, I'm not sure if I would name a kid, but it's a little different. You know what I mean?
Galileo.
Well,
Galileo, let me
my
go.
brother's first name was Cyrus James, but he hated
Cyrus is an okay name.
Yeah, Cyrus is
Cyrus
great,
is
but
an okay name.
not in the UK, where nobody has no clue who the hell Cyrus is.
Who the fuck is Cyrus?
What about
I have a friend.
Yes,
a friend who's the child of academics. One of whom actually I studied with, the set theorist and mathematician and philosopher Hartreefield. His wife was another academic named, I think, Beth Wrigley, and Wrigley. And so they decided, being modern parents, that they were going to hyphenate, and so they named their child Elizabeth Wrigley Field.
Oh my God!
It had no clue what they were.
They didn't know.
Like, she would won a debate competition, and the name was in the paper, and it was like a big thing. And they went, "Oh, Wrigley Field, is that something?" And,
That's great.
She's saddled with this now.
That's all. I wonder if there's like a hyphenated name for someone. Like, there's got to be a Fenway Park somewhere too, right? There's got to be a Fenway Park.
Although the worst I've ever heard by far.
I mean, as I said, I have friends who they eventually decided on Hallison, sometimes the Enchanter from the Arthurian Chronicles, but they first wanted to call their son Aragorn. Until I wrote to them and said, I don't think Aragorn is a very good name.
Even Anakin once.
Oh God, yeah, like. Just don't. Like, if you're gonna name, pick like a thing that where the people just have normal names for our time period.
As I said, what happened to nice names like Stephen or Connor?
Good name.
Good name. I agree. Great name.
Or Joseph, or there are thousands of names, or Daniel even.
Yeah, exactly. And pick one of the normal names in the Bible. Don't name them like Hezekiah. Don't.
I remember going to summer camp back in like the early 2000s, and there was it was like a space camp kind of thing.
Yeah.
And there was a girl named Zenobula. I swear that was her real name, Zenobula. Not Zenobula, not Zenobula from Enterprise, but Zenobula.
But it still sounds like it should be a planet on Star Trek.
Right, and like I actually like that. I like that. I actually like this girl's parents. Her parents were pretty like out there. That they sounded pretty cool.
I mean, it depends. Yeah, well, that's the thing. It depends on the person. Like, if people, you can get away with it. Like, if you meet, like, if you had kids and you named one of them Galileo and they grew up to be just an awesome person, nobody's going to be like, fucking Galileo. Like, they're gonna, there's not going to be an issue. But if it becomes a burden to them, then people are either going to mock them or pity them, and that's going to be their life.
You all are going to appreciate this. I used to know a writer friend whose name was T'Pring.
Oh my God!
Oh no!
But our parents didn't use the apostrophe; they put an E in there instead.
Oh,
I don't think that makes it better.
Yeah,
for her.
it's still, yeah. I just don't. Yeah, don't. Especially if it.
There was a case some years ago where a girl was called Tallahassee, and she actually petitioned the court and said, "I want to change my name." And even the judge said, "I don't think Tallahassee is a very good name for a girl. Think of the trauma you're inflicting on this child."
She's like, that's,
I keep joking with my wife that if we have kids, that I love the name like Glorfindel, like from Lord of the Rings. It is entirely a joke.
Don't do that to anybody.
Don't do that. Like just
one of the
best. Call her Glory, and it's short for Glorfindel.
Glory, yeah, there you go. Call her Glory.
But people I know that there's this woman I know, like I do a lot of theater, and her name was Carrie Bags. You know, people constantly would be like giving her shit for that. But she was okay. Have a son. Okay, no, it gets worse. It gets worse.
Great. Okay, please.
So, you know, she wanted to name her son when she had a baby something, you know, that he wouldn't get made fun of. She named him Richard. You can see where I'm going with this.
Dick Bags.
It's like,
that's beautiful.
I would insist on being called Richie and never.
He should be one. No,
call him Richie, but I'm just like, why would you even tempt fate like that? You know,
Yeah,
like when he gets
don't
to
do
middle
that.
school, someone is gonna.
Sometimes,
well, I mean, unless he grows up to become like a hard-boiled private detective, you know,
That's true.
Dick Bags, Private Eye.
As played by Humphrey Bogart.
There you go.
Sometimes when those people's last name is Connor, I'll sometimes like speak in like the Terminator voice. like someone's last name is Connor. I'm
looking for Sarah Connor.
Oh my God, my wife is named Sarah, so Sarah Connor.
There you go. There you go.
She's blurred out right now, but you know she's behind my shoulders.
I'm sure she's grateful. She's like, "Oh, you're blurring me out, right?"
In the world of unfortunate names, anytime I go to my great grandmother's grave here in the big Catholic cemetery in Cleveland, she has a flat headstone, so it is impossible to find. But you can find it if you look across from her, because there's an obsidian black headstone with bright gold lettering belonging to the Schmucks.
Oh, that's fun.
And they're overcompensating with that beautiful. They're overcompensating with that beautiful headstone.
Yeah, I feel bad that she has to spend eternity next to those schmucks, but
don't bury me next to the schmucks, please. Whatever you do.
Look, Connor, it occurs to me now when you write your friends like around the holiday, when you write out that like little letter to all your friends and family saying, "Oh, this is how we did the last year," you can call it the Sarah Connor Chronicles.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's a gift. It's not a curse. It's a gift. It's a beautiful gift.
Yeah. No, that didn't even occur to me until someone mentioned the Terminator thing. So it's just like,
yeah,
you know, where's Sarah Connor?
Yeah.
I told you I'd be back, Sarah Connor.
I have a friend named Michael who is named for the Archangel, who said that his dad had to like beg and plead and come to that as a compromise because she really wanted to name him Ursiel, which is not an okay name.
You know, I have a similar story. I'll mention this, and then I want to get the last couple of hands, and then I swear to Christ, I'm ending this show. But no, so I think I may have told this story on a show before, but I was almost named Upton.
Oh no!
Because my great grandfather on my dad's side, his first and middle name was Upton Clay. And then his son, my great grandfather, was named Clay Upton. A lot of creativity in that era of the family. And so my dad wanted to name me after both his grandfather and his great grandfather. And he wanted to name me either Upton Clay or Clay Upton. And it was my mother who interceded and basically said, we're not doing that. And so Clay is my middle name, but they settled on Steve for my first name. And I'm grateful that they did because I mean, I'm sure I would have gotten used to it by now, but I'm glad that I didn't have to go through life as Upton.
Upton Shives. It sounds like a tube station. I'm going down to Upton Shives. Are you coming with me?
Exactly.
Kind of guy, you know?
Yeah, it's like I don't
at the monogram.
I could if Upton had been the middle name, I could have been Sus. I could have been on all my towels, and people would come over and they would see Sus in the bathroom, and they'd be like, "Should I be here?" Anyway, okay. So 2 hands are left, Geek and Neil, and then we're all then it's over. Then we're all going to disappear and go on with our lives. So
yes,
so
Geek,
go for it.
Reminder. Capitals is terrible. There should be no billionaires because being a billionaire is in itself a immoral act as well too. Because we are living under capitalism, I have friends that have to beg online in order to live as well too. Joanna, who actually Joanna mentioned in their Discord server as well too, that her friends her mom's like a student got killed by ICE, so that she actually knows the person as well too, and that got connection as well too. So there's that.
Yeah.
So, but like Phoenix needs money as always because like they don't have any income as well too, except for like food stamps and temporary disability assistance program, if that as well too. And so like yeah, the Joy Fine Bear has been like passing the hat around as well too because like they do work because they have to in order to get food stamps. It's kind of the thing where it's just like you have to like work a certain amount of hours in order to like get food stamps well too. But even for like the only 8 hours that they do a week, something like that, they were sent home and only do like 5.5 hours. And so because they work less, they get less food stamps or no food stamps because of course it works that way as well too. And also like Lincoln and like an Asneco are kind of like desperately trying to like raise like $400 for groceries. It's all because like it's a long story that like their mother, Lincoln's mother and like uncle has to like go visit family in like Arizona and like for family reasons because like someone's like probably like dying or something like that. But because of that, because Lincoln's mother is their only car that Lincoln and Naz have available to them as well too. They don't have a car and they live out on a farm in the middle of nowhere as well too. They need to they're trying to raise for $400 worth of groceries for like February, so because they need to like stock their fridges for a whole month's worth of like groceries because of when the Lincoln's mother is gone as well too. So many different like circumstances where capitalism is terrible and we should like fight to like go against capitalism because like capitalism in decay is fascism. Look where we are now as well too. And reminder of also of charity links on that page because of, like several different people like the GoFundMe's and PayPal links and Venmos and Cash Apps are all in there as well too. And that's also in the description below as well too. Now I'm done. Neil, now you take it.
Go for it, Neil. You finish us off. Oh, that sounded dirty.
Yes.
You have the last word.
Okay.
No, finish us off. I'd rather we do that then.
All right. So in the spirit of what you were talking about, all the names, my son was going to be born. It looked very much like he was going to be born January 1st, 2000. Everybody who's sitting here probably remembers the hysteria and the misnaming of January 1st, 2000 being the beginning of the new millennium when we know it was the end of the old millennium.
Yes.
So here I am and in the hospital. My son happens to get born just before January 1st, thank goodness, because if the cameras were going to go ahead and ask me, so your son was the first person born in this time zone for January 1st, 2000, what are you going to name your son? I was going to look at the camera and say, in honor of the new millennium, we're going to name our son Lucifer after the desolate one. And I could just see them like,
let's go. Oh, this isn't going to be on the news.
Yeah, exactly. Let's let this is a beautiful community, and let's keep that spirit with everybody that we encounter, even some of the assholes.
And boy, is that a struggle sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes.
Oh, every goddamn day, buddy. Every goddamn day. That's a nice note to end on. So
Although,
as
I do have one
oh my
thing.
God, Cara, I'm trying to end the show. Go ahead, make it quick. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I've come to the conclusion I didn't know my mother at all. I got a weird phone call like, at the beginning of the week from a woman who, this is a complicated story. Apparently my mother fell foul of the church when we were in Colorado because there was a 16-year-old girl who was pregnant and being beaten up by her boyfriend. And my mother arranged it so she could get back to her parents. And she got her on a bus and got her medical treatment for her dislocated shoulder. And her church ladies told her she shouldn't have done that. She'd have sent him back to her abusive boyfriend. And they told her she wasn't welcome at church anymore. And this girl, who is now about the same age as me, called me up and said she'd hired a private investigator and been searching for me for 15 years to thank me for saving her, for my mum saving her mother. And I'm beginning to think I didn't know my mother at all. That sounds something that is really wild.
Yeah.
She never talked about it. She never mentioned it. And I'm sure if I brought it, I said, well, what was I supposed to do? I couldn't send her back to be beaten up again. I couldn't And I probably said, but what about the church? Because the church was a big thing in Colorado. It wasn't, they didn't exactly believe, but it was a good social focus.
Right.
So for her to be told, oh, you're not welcome at church anymore because you should have sent this 16-year-old, this pregnant 16-year-old, back to be beaten up by her boyfriend again. I get the feeling I didn't know my mother at all. Really weird to kind of realize that there are things about your parents that make them seem like wild terrorists. I don't know if she'd be on the streets confronting ICE, but I get the feeling she'd be hiding people and the basement under floorboards.
Yeah. Yeah, you never know, do you?
Mm-hmm.
No. All right. Well, on that note, now I'm ending the show.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. To everybody,
that I could join you guys.
It was great. It was great to have you here. It was great to have all the new faces here. This was really good. Please take notice of all the links that Geek shared, charitylinks.page. And if you want to be a supporter of mine, patreon.com/Steve Shives, or click the join button to become a YouTube channel member. We do this every month, almost always the last Sunday of every month. So if this looks like fun,
and the next one is exactly 4 weeks from now, February 22nd.
There we go. All right. So we will see you back for another one of these on February 22nd. So everybody, take care of yourselves. Be safe, whether that means be safe from the literal ice that's coming down from the sky, depending on where you live, or that other kind that's even worse.
The worst kind.
Yeah. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Be safe. And we'll see you next time. Bye,
Love
everybody.
you, Neil.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.